Hi, my name is Rosamund. I'm a self-employed entrepreneur, a business consultant, and a neuromuscular massage therapist, and I practice a form of intuitive healing called natural healing science, which is what this video is about. So if you've clicked on this link, obviously you're curious what is natural healing science. Maybe you're interested in coming for a session with me. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about it and what to expect in a session. And apologies in advance, this video probably won't be short because it does take a little while to explain the whole picture. So people often ask me, is it Reiki? When I say I do energy work or intuitive work, intuitive healing, they say, is it Reiki? No, it's not Reiki. I don't practice Reiki. I've never trained in Reiki. But if you've had Reiki before, your experience of it may be similar to your experience of having Reiki or any other energy work that you've experienced. Likewise, maybe you've been for a massage and had a very intuitive massage therapist. Sometimes when I'm practicing massage, or virtually all the time when I'm practicing massage, this kind of flow of energy and intuition comes through, and the physical massage as well. It's not really something that you can completely switch off from when you're working with a client, that is. In day-to-day life, I do my best to switch off from it. So what is natural healing science? Well, I trained in Auckland in a school. I trained over 4 years part-time, and so a lot of it was personal growth and development and developing the intuitive abilities and alignment, I would call it, that are needed to do the practice. So it's based on the theory of the human energy field, which to me is basically what I experience when I'm working with someone as factual. So you may have heard of the concept of an aura. Certainly if you've clicked on this link, it's likely that you think of yourself as being somewhat an energetic being. So if you think of us as souls inhabiting a body, sometimes we think of our individual souls inhabiting our body and our aura being something that emanates out from the physical body, like a life force. Now, I would describe it differently than that. I would describe it that our individuated self, and ultimately energetically at a molecular level, I mean, we are part of the molecular field that is this planet, and energetically you can think of us at the higher and higher levels of our consciousness as being all connected to each other, to the planet. However, when we think of our individuated selves, our individuated souls, we have levels of our energy that we can call ours. And the way I would describe its relationship to the physical body is that really our physical body is the densest manifestation of our energy field, and you could look at it like the densest manifestation of our living soul in this current time-space reality. So a lot of what may manifest in the physical body is, for example, physical discomfort, which is why I often refer to massage therapy, which I also practice, the neuromuscular massage therapy, is because, almost always when there is physical discomfort, it is a manifestation of energetic imbalances, often originating in like the emotional, mental level. Sometimes it really is something that we need to work through on a spiritual level. So when I work, I am attuning to basically about at least 7 levels of your energy field, from the one that corresponds to the physical body, called the etheric, or I call it the etheric. These different, the etheric body is used in different ways, but when I say etheric, I mean the one that's most closely connected to your physical body, which is really the one that, like, for example, the meridians in traditional Chinese medicine would really be in that level. And then going up another 6 levels to your 7th level. Those are primarily the levels of your aura, of your energy field, of your soul's incarnation that I work with. And then you have your chakras. So the chakras, the primary chakras I work with, more or less, well, they do correspond to what you may be familiar with from yogic tradition. So your base through to your crown. And there are a lot of other chakras as well, which if you're a particularly sensitive individual, you may be awakening some of those other energy centers. For example, there is one about where my necklace is here, around your thymus gland. That's a common one which may be awakening in a lot of sensitive individuals, or may already be awakened. So your chakras function on each level of your, if you think of the levels of your aura, your energy field, as being different vibrational levels, which they are, so they can be perceived by a sensitive individual as separate levels. Sometimes it can be a little bit hard to distinguish them, but your chakras also function, operate on each level of your energy field, those 7 levels as well. So in a session, generally, well, I would never really be working just on one thing. There would always be a flow of the work from one aspect to another. So it could be that we're working with the solar plexus at an emotional and mental level, and then flowing through to the crown at like your spiritual level. It just depends what we're working with. So that brings me to the intent of the session. Okay, so when I say we, I really do mean we, because I'm never just working as a healer imposing what I think you need. It's always aligned with your soul's intent, your higher self. So even before the session starts, I'll start to attune to your higher self. And when you make a booking, occasionally I get a little bit of a sense of what it might be about, but generally it'll just be shortly before the session. I will have started attuning, and then we sit down and we talk through what your goals and what your intention is becoming. So it could be that you just would like a one-off rebalancing. It could be that perhaps you might need a few more sessions. It's just really individual. It's completely individual. So there's no kind of if you come for one session then you've got to continue or anything like that. Some people can get like an enormous amount of awakening and connection just from one session. So in the process of having a conversation with you, we just establish if there's any issues you'd like to work on, or whether you're really, like, sometimes people come out of curiosity, which is also like your higher self may have guided you to come as part of your process of awakening and becoming aware of your energy field, of your soul's manifestation as energy, so that you can start to become more aware and more responsible for your own energy field. Maybe to do with a relationship, maybe to help you kind of like cut ties from a relationship, or it could be what are some other common examples? Common examples would be people that are struggling a little bit with boundaries, for example. So a lot of, again, very sensitive individuals will have always had a bit of a struggle, and there's usually been some quite intense difficulty in the family growing up and things. So it's amazing the amount of stuff that we can start to work with even just in the first session. However, we're always working in alignment with your intent, your conscious intent, and we could call it your unconscious intent or your higher self intent for where you need to be going. So I always work in a way that is guided. If I think I need to be doing something and I start doing it and it doesn't sort of seem to be the right thing, I'll back off and try something different. Again, sometimes in particularly sensitive individuals who are going through like a spiritual awakening process, you actually need to invite me in consciously to work in your aura. So that can be part of it as well. Just becoming aware of your own boundaries, your own auric field, and inviting me as a facilitator really to work with you. So I don't like to just use that word healer because it sort of implies that I'm a fixer or something, and even with massage therapy, I don't like to think of myself that way. I like to think of myself as being a connector, a facilitator. I'm really connecting you in with your own guidance, your own intuition, helping you to clear some blocks and come back into alignment, or come forward into alignment, you could say as well, because you may never have experienced a spiritual connection before, but you always felt like there was something missing, or maybe you just always felt disconnected, lonely. Maybe you had a difficult upbringing and you know that there's some kind of connection to be made, but you're not really sure how. And that's very much how I was when I first experienced this, from a wonderful healer who is now like a very beloved friend who lives in West Auckland. She did a session with me. I guess I would have been about 21, 22, something like that. And it was just like, oh my goodness, all these dots getting connected. And in that session, we did go into some quite deep reconnection. So as well as the aura and the chakras that I described, you do have deeper levels of your vibrational existence, your energy, your soul's manifestation as well. So there is your hara line. And for those of you who really want to get into a bit more detail, look up Barbara Ann Brennan and her material online. She's a NASA scientist, and she has spent basically her whole past 30-40 years or something researching the human energy field, both intuitively and in practice, and has developed healing methods as well as describing in quite a lot of detail the human energy field. So she does describe the hara line as well, and this is something, if you've done anything like Tai Chi, it works in with the hara line as well. It's really to do with your soul's intent and the soul's intent in being incarnate in this lifetime. And so you start to get really into a bit more of the stuff around like life purpose and direction on that vibrational level. And then there is another level I work with as well called your core star, which is really like the essence of, like, it's the vibrational essence of your soul. And when that floods through into your aura, it's just a very beautiful feeling of reconnection, love for sure, but it's quite hard to put into words actually. But it would always depend on where you're at. Like, it wouldn't be a situation where you would like come in and say, oh, I want you to connect with my core star. It would really depend on what your higher self, your soul, determines as the priority and what you're ready for at this time. So I hope this has been helpful for those who are curious. And I do also do remote sessions. We could do them via a video conferencing like Zoom, or we can even do them over the phone. I've got pretty good sort of remote site, if you call it that. And I work a lot in the realm of inner divine union of inner masculine, feminine energies, and inner right relationship, inner wholeness, you could call it. So it's really what brings us into harmony and outer relationship as well. And that's kind of been my life path, if you want to call it that, is working in that realm. So I'm in the process of developing some vibrational essences called soul infusions, which, if you've ever heard of like flower essences, bark essences, for example, I have created flower essences myself in the past, and these are really really similar to that. So you're welcome to inquire about that too. And I wish you well, and I hope that you decide to come for a session or do a remote session with me. Namaste.